And welcome to Houston Newsmakers Extra. I'm talking with Houston Police Department Chief Troy Fenner. It's nice to be able to say that name, Chief Fenner. Thank you for being here. We were talking earlier on the program about the murder rate and the challenges of again. What's the most frustrating thing to you about seeing those numbers and knowing that behind each one of those numbers there's a family, there's somebody hurting, regardless of how they got there. There's a family and a whole extended group of people who are hurting.
Yeah, Canberra, it is very frustrating because I'm one who makes crime scenes ever since I've been a police officer, and it carried all the way up to where I'm at now. So I've seen the pain and the suffering of families. My family has personally been experienced, two violent deaths, both of my nephews, and I've spoke on that before, but it's very frustrating. But also, just to see individuals that should be locked up out. And we got to really look at that. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying, as a team, as a criminal justice team, as a community, we're going to really have to get some solution on that. I'm not saying lock up low-level nonviolent, people who suffer from mental illness or people who need treatment from drug addictions. Divert those low-level nonviolent, divert those. But we really have to focus in on those individuals who are so violent in our society and causing havoc on our streets and in our neighborhoods.
There's something that I've noticed over the last number of weeks and years, actually. Police have to make split-second decisions on a regular basis. Some of the things that happened here in the news recently, some of those things were really split-second decisions. That's altogether different from what happened in the Derek Chauvin case, which was not split-second. It was. So, do you have a public relations effort that needs to be put into place to let people know what goes on in the mind of a police officer who's interested in going home at the end of that shift, like he wants everybody else to go home at the end of the night?
Yep. Canberra, I'm glad that you asked that, and that's one thing that I want to do in my administration. I want to be totally transparent, and in that transparency, we should talk the truth, talk about the good, talk about the bad, but also let the public know what's actually going on with the officer, what a challenge it is, to make split-second decisions. I want more citizens involved in our police academy, Citizens Police Academy, so they can see, and even a lot of the news media. I really wish you guys, when we get past COVID, come down and see and understand it's really difficult to be a police officer. It's a challenge, it's an honor. I already said that and alluded to that, but it's so difficult when you have to make those split-second decisions. And that's where officers sometimes make mistakes of the head and not mistakes of the heart. So I want our public to understand the difference. Mm-hmm. You talk about what happened to Mr. Floyd. That's not a mistake of the head. That is just a criminal act that was egregious and shocked the conscience of everybody. And I'm so glad the judge and the jury did the right thing. They sent a message to our entire nation and the entire world that nobody is above the law, and especially an individual who has a badge and took the oath of office to serve and protect people's constitutional rights. So a terrible black eye to law enforcement and to society that it's going to take us such a long time to overcome. And then we continuously have officer-involved shootings that's questionable. But again, everybody needs to look at their training, every department, take a critical look at every incident when it occurs, and how can we get better? How can we improve it? How can we have better communication with our citizens and make things better and safer for everyone?
I know there's been a big effort to have some level of police reform within the community here. The mayor said that there's a task force that came together, put together a number of recommendations. What kind of things can we expect to see coming from those recommendations, and how soon can we see them start?
I know the mayor announced day before yesterday that he's going to have a press conference, and I'm sure I'm going to be standing with him. I'm not going to steal his thunder and never get ahead of my boss, but okay. I can tell you, I think that the public is going to be pleased on a lot of great work. I met with some of the chairpersons of his task force just yesterday, and just discussed a few things and a few things that are to come. But I didn't give them a whole lot of details, and they put all the work in. So I'm not going to put that out right now. And I tell you, he said sometime next week. But I'm going to be proud. And I think our citizens are going to be proud. A lot of things we're already doing, recommendations that they made. Some of them are tied to legislature or contractual agreements, and that takes a little bit of time. And also, some of them has a financial piece to it, and there has to be funding behind it. But a lot of them we already agreed, and we're moving forward on it, and we'll give a report card in next week.
All right, you failed your first test here of not breaking news on Houston Newsmakers, but I'll forgive you on that one here going forward.
I will promise I will make it up for you.
Okay.
But you know what? I just got hired on the 5th. I'm not trying to get fired. I love my mayor and I respect it. Okay.
Good point. Good point. What are you going to look at? What's your barometer? Final question for you. What's your barometer of what will be a successful tenure as chief? I'm not putting you at the end of that tenure at this point. I'm just saying, what's going to be your sign of success as you're moving into this?
Hey, look, if I can put this department, our community, our criminal justice system in a better place when I started, I think I did my job.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think when you look in terms of true community policing, relational policing, community-oriented policing, whatever you want to term it, this is where we arrived as a police department with our community. When the majority of people say, you know what, that's my chief, that's my police department, those are my officers, that kind of trust and positive relationships with all communities. And I don't want it just for a few communities. With the majority of people in all of our communities, when they trust us and love us enough to tell us when we're wrong, but hold us up when we're right. That's when we arrived, and that's what I'm really working on. At the same time, without saying, you have to drive down crime. You have to drive down violent crime. So if we can drive down that violent crime and continue to build those relationships, and we're in a better place when I leave, that's all I could ask.
Thank you, Chief. I look forward to seeing you. I'll see you on May 7th as we honor those who've given their lives on behalf of the police department. Looking forward to being a part of that, and I look forward to seeing you there. And good luck to you as a chief and to your family and all those folks who've helped make you the success you are. You set the bar high. We look forward to seeing you get even more success. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, and thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Houston Newsmakers Extra. Share it with everybody you know.